Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. But good morning from London. This is Naim Azam, Chief Market Analyst at AvaTrade, and welcome to our daily update on our channel, where we really help you guys to become a skilled trader, if we can say. Right, before we do anything else, it is important for me to go through this disclaimer and risk warnings. Anything which will be discussed cannot be perceived as an advice. If you are seeking for one, please do consider consulting with your own financial advisors. Now, as always, in these particular videos, what we always do is we go through the major fundamentals which are really moving the markets on that particular day, meaning today, and what can you really make out of those ones? What is the information which is tradable, and what is just part of noise which we really got to ignore? So that is what really we'll be discussing in terms of a market. Now, folks, starting with the US market, I do have grave concerns in relation to the Nasdaq and of course for the S&P 500 futures as well. So let me break it down to a level which becomes more digestible for you. When we see the price action for the Nasdaq, it is immensely dire. What do I mean by that? For the last few days, the price has been in battle with the 100-day simple moving average and the 50-day simple moving average at the same time as well. So it is trying to break above the 100-day simple moving average, and then it does. But then when it tries to break above the 50-day simple moving average, it fails. So that particular element is really telling us that the price doesn't really have the sort of a tailwind behind it that we really need for this momentum to continue its journey to the upside. Because yesterday, we've seen some tremendous sell-off in stocks like Alibaba, Baidu. Of course, Tesla became the target of that as well. Galaxy, which is the space company. Of course, Zoom also saw a massive drawdown, in terms of the price action as well. So really, the tech stocks are once again on the forefront of this sell-off, which is really leading the sell-off for the Nasdaq futures. Now, what about the S&P 500 futures? When we talk about the S&P 500 futures, it is mainly and primarily talking about Tesla. So when we look at Tesla, that the stock literally dropped yesterday, despite all that positivity that we saw in the market about, you can use Bitcoin to buy Tesla. I don't know who would do that, because it is such a precious derivative, in my opinion. I think, you are exchanging an appreciating asset against a depreciating asset. It doesn't really make sense to me. However, I do applaud the fact that now you actually have a user case of Bitcoin where you can go into a shop and come out with some particular substance in your hand, which wasn't possible before. So that is immensely encouraging. So don't get me wrong on that front. And now this really leads me very nicely to our next topic, which is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and what exactly is happening in that space. When we are looking at Bitcoin price action, and earlier today, by the way, we have done our YouTube video on gold and of course on Bitcoin as well. My qualms or concerns in relation to Bitcoin is why it is not pushing to the upside. We have barrage of good news literally coming one after another. It's like, someone holding AK-47, holding with all the good news and then just literally firing it. But Bitcoin is not moving to the upside. Bitcoin is saying, look, I wanted to go to the downside, and it seems like that we're just waiting for a big bad news to come that can trigger that major retracement that Bitcoin has been very much waiting for, because Tesla news should have really pushed the prices to the upside. Corporates, including Bitcoin, into their treasury system should have pushed Bitcoin prices to the upside. But again, we have not seen the evidence of that. And that makes me a bit more cautious, or at least leaves me on the cautious side. So that is what in relation to cryptocurrencies. Now, moving further away from there, it is all about oil prices. Again, we have done a video on oil prices, and we have talked about how oil prices can really continue their journey to the downside, and the persistency of the weakness in oil prices as well. Highly recommend you to go and have a look at it. And even now, I think, look, the Suez Canal, that is the traffic blockage, because the container blockage, whatever you wanted to call it, I mean, that is the least 25% after mainnet delay. Wow. Okay. So we are seeing very big news. Theta, which is the NFT token, has dropped 25% today because of the mainnet delay. So obviously, Theta is one of the NFTs token which has been performing immensely for the for the last few weeks, and today we're seeing the 25% drop in the price. So that is a pretty big news in terms of that NFT crypto market. So let's go back to crude oil. So what is happening with respect to crude oil is, again, that the momentum is likely to continue to the downside, and in my opinion, we are going to see more lower lows before the price really turns its direction, and then we see higher highs or higher lows. To finish off, in gold market, once again, those concerns are pinned on my dashboard, especially because gold price is not finding its momentum, its mojo, which can really push the prices to the upside. And as long as we continue to see bears failing against the bulls, the momentum is unlikely for gold price to continue its journey to the upside. However, I'm not completely pessimistic. I am somewhat optimistic in relation to the price. And what do I mean by that? I mean, because as long as the price stays above that 1700 price level, we are likely to see prices moving to the upside. That's all for now, and I'll see you guys next time, same place.